All right, hi guys. I just got back in the yard. End of the day, it's Thursday. I took tomorrow off. Long weekend, and let's talk some firewood. First, after my delivery, I come back and look what is cooler. Look at this. Strawberry rhubarb something. Strawberry rhubarb something. It smells fantastic. And I'm going to guess it was the boss strawberry or his wife made it. My wife will love it. She loves sweets. But let's talk about. Here we go. SVL 90, 60. Let's start with this 60. That is, there we go. That 60 is what we mainly use in the yard. It's our yard machine, if you want to call it that. And why that is, a wheeled machine is smoother in the yard than a track machine. And why wear out that undercarriage just to load logs when this does it? This thing owes us absolutely nothing. My boss has had that since it was brand new. It's a 2004 model. We actually just changed that cylinder. Didn't change the cylinder, got it rebuilt. A few years back, we had the log grapple that we use. We actually used it on this to start out with. And he was really yanking on a stump to get it out so he could get around it. And bent both cylinders. So we took it up country to a Mennonite shop and they rebuilt it. Built new rods and everything. Cheaper than buying new ones from Case, if you can even get them. I don't know, we didn't even look. And the end, this end cap down there came loose. This one right there came loose, so we popped it off. So we got that popped off and replaced. Pretty simple to get those cylinders off. The pins, just 2 pins and the hoses. It's greased well. The pins just popped right out. So yeah, we use that. It's cheaper, you know. We took these tires down to nothing. When I mean nothing, I mean nothing. And she blew. Got to get that fixed or replaced, but we did have a spare. It was that one. But yeah, here's our setup and some of the questions. Our crumbs. These crumbs. What do we do with them? Well, we take them from here and we take them back there. Let me go show you. Go for a little walk. This is how my boss has it set up. Pulls the logs off the pile and then he sorts them. He always puts big end on first, or it gets cut first. Just easier to deal that way. And when you run longer stuff, we're running like 25, 27 foot logs. They balance better on the machine because we didn't get that forced strand live deck. But this is what's left of our ash, and that's basically old sugar maple. I see a couple pieces of cherry in there, and that's probably it. But let's go back. And this is rejects from a sawmill right at the end. So we just take them back here. This is all mixed sawdust and the debris that comes off the tumbler. This was from the last time, but we're just piling it back here. And when we get some, we're going to see, maybe we're going to have an excavator in here. And when we do, we'll probably get the grinder here and we'll grind them. And they'll go be loaded out and sent to a mulch factory. I'm not sure if they even need to be ground. If we can get the walking floors back here. And we just have the hoe here. We'll load them direct and just take them. They're short on mulch. Everything is come to a standstill because of this COVID-19, And you know, the logging industry is taking a hit too. Sawmills are shut down. Nobody's buying lumber, so they're not getting all that. That clearing jobs are shut down. They're not issuing permits. We're just starting to start up. We're going to see more stuff starting up in the coming weeks. So starting Monday, there's more stuff opening up. So that's good. Hopefully this economy gets going quickly, and the damage from it is very minimal. So yeah, that's what we do with all our crumbs and scraps and stuff like that. We'll grind it up. We're working maybe on doing another thing with the stuff that comes off the tumbler. So we'll separate the sawdust from the processor, and the crumbs from the tumbler will be separated, and we may be burning those. We're not quite sure. We're trying to get set up to do kiln dried wood. We're going to supplement a bit. I think we can burn some of that. So we're going to try. We'll see. Stay tuned for that. I'll try to make a big series of it. It's all new for us. My boss's brother, he's into drying lumber, so he knows this stuff pretty good. So we'll depend on him and his knowledge that he has. He's a pretty smart cat. So, all right. Let's go question number 3. Our piles. Let's spin you. Here's our piles. And why do we do it like that? Well, we do it that way because, like it is right now, it's raining. And the rain will run down these. Now, when it comes down into here, that big pile right there is actually just because we were taking some out, so pushed it up. But it comes down and it runs down into this area, and it allows it to get away. If you have the piles too, like let's say the cone came down into here and it's 10 feet up, like it only comes down kind of like that. Hopefully that makes sense. Maybe I'll figure out, I can draw a little line there on how it's going to be. What happens is the water sits down in there, and that's where you'll find your mold. We learned that the first time with our first processor. We actually processed over here, and I think it got a bit of dampness. It didn't get the morning sun because of the trees there. That's east, south. So this gets sun on all sides going this way as well, which I think is an advantage. It just keeps that water out of there and allows airflow to come through. You know, we're getting majority of our majority of our wind. There's northwest wind coming majority of the time. I know that building blocks a bit of it, but so yeah, that's why we do it like that. And then we when we do the, let me move back here. This isn't a good example because we were just finishing up and we set up behind me, so we just stopped. But we would fill up this hole here to try to get rid of that little bit. And then it will look more like this one. You can see there's 1, 2, 3 tips there. Less water can run down into the center there. And that helps to keep the water out of the piles. This is why you see farmers when they're stooking hay and they put it up on angles, or when they did just loose hay, it'll all be in big piles so the rain runs off it. It's worked for us very well. Now it's, I think, a little bit different story if they're covered in snow. If they sit all winter and they're covered in snow, it's a totally different story because how that melts. It does run off a bit, but you get what I'm saying. Reject logs. I'll show you our reject stuff. I do not put this through the processor. I just choose not to. It does not fall very nice. And sometimes they can be tough splitting. So when this is your last piece to go through, depending on how they sit, because you get these little humps. That's a little hump there. They don't go through very well and it's hard to grab. And this one's, I don't know, 21 or 22 inches long. And if it falls in there and I can't get it to fall all the way down, it's too wide for the chamber, I got to shut everything down. I got to hop in and actually manhandle it out. So it's just, at that point, it's too much of a pain, and forget it. Kick it out just quicker, or even if you cut them off before it even gets on the machine. You can see here's some other stuff. Another big maple back there. Yeah, just kick it out. There's more here. Some other stuff. Some of this stuff I probably could have put through, but whatever. I kicked it out and it's done with now. Our logs that are too big to go through. Here you go. Here's our too big stuff. Or really twisty and not worth trying to put through. This one we probably put through, but whatever. It can go there. All this stuff. This is all big stuff. No good for saw logs. And no good for running through the processor. It goes to hand cutting. We have customers that all they want to do is hand cut. So that's where this is going, and it should be gone next week, I'm going to assume. Half load in their area comes off on the 15th, which is tomorrow, I believe. Our half load here is already off. It came off on the 1st, so you can see that's pretty big stuff. And just no good. This was like great big crotch, and this one split. Holy. So you get what I'm talking about. That's got a bit of rot, but too big. That one's kind of twisty. So you get my point. So that is going to a guy. He wants hand cut. He actually wants it really big. Last year we processed for him as big as we could do it, and it wasn't big enough for him. He was not happy. So we said, we'll send you big body wood, and you can hand cut and split it yourself. And that's what he wants to do. Apparently he's got quite the setup. But I'll show you over here on the processor. So that's how all our sawdust comes off in a pile here. We're working on getting a bin. I think we already have one bin here for that. Or not us, at our buddy's place. Bin there, and get another bin for there. And oh, pickaroon. Everybody should have a pickaroon. This thing's pretty handy, and I did my own grip on it. That's a, oh, let me hold you straight here. That's a baseball grip. Nice and soft and squishy. I didn't have any hockey tape, but I'm going to get some, and I'm going to put hockey tape right at the very bottom. But it's handy for that stuff that doesn't fall properly. I hope that answers some questions for you. And if you have any more, leave them in the comments. I'll answer them for you. Oh, and another one, I almost forgot. How we load it out of these piles and what we use. This is what we use right here. Stone forks. We got a big back on it. Actually, if you put, and we're probably going to, if you put sides on like this, you can actually hold more. Works pretty good. This here, the ground that it's on, there's a little bit of dirt on top, but right underneath is hard pack. Recycled asphalt. We got it put down when it was nice and hot out, and it's actually really hard. So basically a little bit in from this pile, it's solid. It's almost like asphalt. So would it be nicer sitting on an asphalt yard or a concrete yard? Yeah, that's all money. Will we do it? Maybe. It'd be nice getting actually the coveralls with the with asphalt. But anyway, I hope you guys all enjoyed this, and like I said, if you got any more questions, leave them in the comments. I'll be glad to try to answer them for you or show you how we do it. This is all how we do it. If it works for you, go ahead. If something else works for you, do that way. Just because I said it works for us doesn't mean it's going to work for everyone else. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate all of you, and see you on the next one. Thanks.